So consumption functions, I discussed with you C, which equal to, you can write A plus B Y, or you can write B, which is equal to, you can also write a small c bar. Okay, so you can take as, in place of B you can write a small c bar. So as I discussed, A and B both are constant, and B is known as MPC, marginal propensity to consume. Clear?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, isn't A equals to C bar?
A equal to
C bar.
at place A you want to write C bar.
No, sir. B is MPC, so it can't be C bar, right? So if income is 0, our minimum level of consumption will be A. So we have
Yes.
to write A equals to C bar, right? Not B equals to C bar.
So you had denoted autonomous consumption by B instead of A.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
just a minute. Actually, I think in your book it is written as C equal to maybe C bar plus a small c y. Am I right? Is this formula?
Sir, I haven't seen the book, but like you have written B equals to C bar, in place of B, it is A.
No. Sorry, there is a mistake here. Actually, it's not a small c. It should be small c. It should be small c, not bar. Like this. Okay. So you can write like this, but it is a reason I'm just writing A and B so you can well understand. Okay, and I will take it in your conjunction functions. So simply you understand about C is also constant. This is C, the small c we have written here. Actually, this small c is also constant, but it is known as MPC. But MPC for a given country at a given time period, it's a given. It can change, but it will take the long term, very long term. It's after long term phenomena you can observe that it is the MPC of a particular country. Clear? So basically A and B, these two are constants, but B here is the MPC, marginal propensity to consume. Is it clear? So don't take in this way where, but yeah, it should not be the C bar. It should be the A equal to C bar. So you can write in this format. C is the total consumptions. C bar is the minimum level of consumptions when level of income is Y is 0. And small c is the MPC, and that proportions, if your income increases, then your consumption will go up. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes.
Okay, but I am using here A and B for simple, because everywhere you are writing C bar, small c, so it will confuse. It is the reason I am just using different A and B. Okay. Fine. So C equal to A plus BY, these consumption functions. And I discussed already yesterday. So if you put it in a diagram, say you measure income along horizontal axis and consumption along vertical axis, then when level of income is 0, a minimum amount of consumption or consuming, which is A amount, and from here your consumption function will start like this. Okay, so you write here, you can bigger size a little bit. Here writing consumption, here writing income. So consumption functions you can write like this, make like this. Okay, this time a little bit not good. And this curve is known as the C, which is equal to A plus dy. So it says that if level of income is 0, so this much minimum consumptions, A amount you will consume. And as your income increases, say your income is Y1, so your consumption will be around C1. If your income increases from Y1 to Y2, your consumption may go up C1 to C2. So simply it's a linear consumption functions and C equal to A plus dy. Yeah. So just think about saving functions here. Saving functions. So what is saving? Saving, one line you can say saving is that part of income which is not consumed, or saving is that part of the income which is left after consumption is known as saving. So simply you can define saving is that part of the income which is not consumed, or saving is the saving which is not that part of the same thing, that part of the income which is not consumed. So it means if you write saving S equal to this, so Y is your income, C is your consumption, so Y minus C will give you the saving amount. So as per definition, saving is that part of the income which is not consumed, because if you have income, then either you can consume or you can save. So put it here, C equal to what? You have seen A minus BY. You can write in place of C, consumption function, you write A minus BY. So here you can write A is equal to minus A plus Y minus BY. So A is equal to minus A plus 1 minus B into Y. And it is known as saving functions. It is known as saving function. Clear? And what is 1 minus B? So here 1 minus B equal to MPS. It is your marginal propensity to save. Here MPS means marginal propensity to save, 1 minus B. B is your MPC, remember, B is your MPC, marginal propensity to consume, and 1 minus B is known as MPS, marginal propensity to save. Fine. So if you want to draw the saving functions, so saving function, you are getting it. So why not you just compare it and write it and compare it. Your consumption function, you have written it A plus BY. Your saving function, you are written it minus A plus 1 minus BY. Clear? Why minus A? Anyone?
So whenever the autonomous consumption is a positive number, then savings will be zero. Oh, sorry, a negative.
Okay.
Sir, because at the zero level of income, there will be no savings.
Okay. So, yeah. Simply you can say that when the level of income is zero, you have seen in the last class, when y equal to 0, your consumption is going to be minimum A amount. So how you can consume this A amount? Since you are not earning anything, but you are consuming something. So there is a two possibility only. Either you can use your past saving. If you are using this past saving, means your saving is going to be same amount negative minus A. Or you are taking loan. So loan is also considered as a negative saving because you need to pay it back. Okay, so you are basically dis-saving basically. So minus A amount, you are using it for funding your consumptions. So how much you consumed when level of income is 0, that much amount basically you dis-saved during that time period. So your saving will be negative. So if you draw this diagram, saving curve, so it will be its origin 1. So it looks like this. It is saving curve minus A amount. A saving curve is equal to minus A plus 1 minus B y. The saving curve. So this saving curve simply says that if level of income is 0, your saving is minus a amount. If your income start increasing, so definitely you are consuming, but at the same time you are also paying back your this saving amount. Okay, so the moment your income started increasing, the gap between your this negative amount minus amount keeps declining. This negative gap keeps declining. And when your income reached at Y amount, your saving is 0. Means whatever you saved, what amount you saved in the past, now you paid it back. And now there is your saving is 0. Okay, negative saving means money, that's your amount you paid. And now you come at the 0 level of saving. And any income more than Y amount, then your saving is going to be positive. Okay. And in this way it will go. So it is a complete sense of the saving curve or saving functions. Simply you can write ki saving is that part of the income which is not consumed, and saving is the function of level of income. Saving is the function of level of income, and it is positively related. Positively related means you can also write the saving, which is we generally write the saving is the function of income Y. Okay. Y. And if Y means income increases, then saving will go up. And if income decreases, then saving will decrease. Yes, it is a positive relationship. Okay. Here I am not discussing the classical theory. So when we will discuss classical theory, then you will get it that saving is the function of rate of interest here. Okay. So here just I am pointing only one point. Yes, there is a difference between the classical theory and Keynesian theory. So in Keynesian theory or Keynes theory, if you think, then saving is the function of income and it is positively related. But if saving you take in the classical theory, then saving is the function of rate of interest. Okay. So here we are just discussing now the Keynes theory. So here you assume that saving is the function of income only, and the shape is like this. Okay. One information, one more thing is that because you know, if your income is Y, then you can consume or you can save. So consumption plus saving is equal to income. Clear? Now, you divide both the sides by capital Y, means income. Divided by Y. Okay. So you can write here this C upon Y is known as APC, average propensity to consume. And S upon Y is known as average propensity to save. Plus, and Y upon Y is 1, so equal 1 you can write. So this relationship you must remember, average propensity to consume plus average propensity to save, sum is equal to 1. So APC, average propensity to consume plus average propensity to save, their sum is equal to 1. It means if you are knowing one of these two, other value you can easily calculate. Suppose APC is given 0.5, then APS should be 1 minus 0.5 means 0.5. Clear? Or you are knowing APS, then you can calculate the value of APC because you are knowing that APC plus APS equal to 1. So any of one, this variable, if you put, then other you can get it. Similarly, the same relationship, one other you can develop. Let us consider income increased amount is, say, delta Y, or income has increased in the country. If there is an increase in amount of delta Y amount, then definitely taking this increased amount of income, some part you are going to spend on consumption and some part of increased amount you are going to spend on in saving. So if you add both, increase in consumption plus increase in saving must be equal to increase in your income. So delta Y must be equal to delta C plus delta S. Delta S. These two must be equal. Means whatever amount, if there is increase in your income, then that amount must be equal to increase in your consumption plus increase in your saving. So if you divide delta Y both the sides, so this delta C upon delta Y is known as MPC, marginal propensity to consume, and delta S upon delta Y is known as MPS, marginal propensity to save, and their sum must be equal to, because its value is 1. Yeah, its value is 1, so this must be equal to 1. So this relationship you should also know. MPC plus MPS equal to 1. So it means if you are writing 1, you can write MPS equal to 1 minus MPC. Okay. So in saving function, you have seen that MPC is, we have taken B. So 1 minus B is nothing but 1 minus MPC. And 1 minus MPC is known as MPS, marginal propensity to save. Here you understand about one thing, what MPC represents, because it's very important for us, because this MPC you are going to use in your multiplier also, okay, and this MPS also you are using it. So the formula you are getting it, the MPC means delta C upon delta Y, am I right? Okay, so if delta C upon delta Y you can get, so what you can write it here, what it represents that this shows that if delta Y amount of income increases, then your consumption will go up delta C amount. So if delta Y amount of income increases, consumption will increase delta C amount. If 1 unit of income it is going to increase, then your consumption will go up delta C upon delta Y amount. So MPC, or marginal propensity to consume, it represents that how much your consumption will go up if there is increase in 1 unit of income. Okay, it means suppose your MPC value is 0.8. So 0.8 means, if you just take 0.8 means, you can write it here. 0.8 means 8. You can write in this format. Can we write? So if you can write 80 upon 100, it means if your income increases 100 rupee, then your consumption, you are going to consume 80 rupees more out of increase in 100 rupee. And 20 rupees you are going to save. So if your MPC is 0.8, then MPS must be 0.2. Because we have just established relationship MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. So higher the MPC, lower will be the MPS, and higher MPC represents a major part of income, increased part of income, that particular economy is going to consume. So that you have to see that. Clear? So this is the concept of MPC plus MPS. MPC plus APS is there. Clear? Fine. Yeah, please. MPC means marginal propensity to consume. Fine. Marginal propensity to consume, it represents that you have seen that from the derivations we have taken a delta C upon delta Y is your MPC. So delta C upon delta Y, what exactly we mean? It says that if delta Y amount of income your increases, then your delta C amount, your consumption will definitely go up. So if your 1 unit of income increases, then how much your consumption will go up? The value is delta C upon delta Y. Okay. Now let us consider if MPC's value is 0.8. To 0.8, it means 80 upon 100. It means if your income increase 100 rupee, so your consumption will go up 80 rupees. Means out of increased 100 rupees, the 80 rupees you are going to consume. That it means about the, its meaning of MPC. Higher the MPC means the people are more inclined towards consumptions and less towards savings. Because if MPC is 0.8 means MPS value is 0.2. Because you have seen that MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. Clear? Clear, everyone? Yes, dear. Go back to the simple maths, dear. In class 9, 6, 7, you are doing. If suppose 40 banana is cost is 80 rupees. So one banana cost was 80 upon 40. You remember? That math will be complete. Same maths I used it here. Yeah. If delta Y amount of income increased, then if your consumption increased delta C amount, so for 1 unit increase in your income, how much your consumption will increase? So delta C upon delta Y. Simple maths I used it. Okay, so simply MPC means that 1 unit of income, and that unit of income may be anything. So if 1 unit of income it increases, then delta C upon delta Y amount of your consumption will go up. It's a numerical value now, no? So if you take the MPC is 0.8, because you have just seen that here, MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. So individually cannot be 1. So yesterday we have discussed with you ki MPC less than 1. So one relationship you are getting from, yes, MPC will be less than 1. Why? Because MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. So MPC can't be equal to 1. In very extreme case. But normally in economics, it's very difficult to get this extreme case. Otherwise, you are not going to get this stable equilibrium. So for stable equilibrium, you have to assume that yes, there is a saving also and there is a consumption also. So MPC less than 1, and if there is an increase in your income, consumption definitely will go up. So MPC will be greater than 0. So for even for stability in the country, MPC must be less than 1 and more than 0. The value. So from here you can get it. Clear, everyone? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, since we are knowing this model, aggregate demand, you have taken it. AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So it is known as the 4-sector model. It is known as the 4-sector model. So if you assume the economy is the closed economy, if we assumed the economy is the closed economy, the X equal to M is equal to 0. So your aggregate demand will be your C plus I plus G in closed economy, because there is no export, there is no imports. If you assume no government, then G will be equal to 0. So then your AD is equal to C plus I only. So, and it is known as the 2-sector model. 2-sector model, or it is known as the SKM, simple Keynesian model. Two-sector model is also known as the SKM model, that is a simple Keynesian model, where you assume that there is a households and investors is only two. It is known as a 2-sectors model, because you are assuming that there is no government and economy is the closed economy. So aggregate demand is equal to C plus I. So C stands for your consumption, that is the households, and I stands for investors. So you are only taking in economy the households and the investors, and then you are trying to analyze it. So AD equal to C plus I. Clear?
Yes.
Fine. So if you take simple, now we are starting from the simple Keynesian model, but we will complete all the 4-sectors model. So so aggregate demand here is AD equal to C plus I only in simple Keynesian model. So at equilibrium, you know, so what you are getting basically here in simple Keynesian model, aggregate demand is what? Aggregate demand is equal to C plus, here you have to take I bar. But in simple Keynesian model, we are not taking investment is the function of rate of interest. Okay, we are assuming that investment is the autonomous. So aggregate demand equal to C plus I bar, and aggregate supply we are assuming here, which is equal to capital Y. Capital Y I also discussed with you. Okay, it is a total output produced in the country, and also it represents total income in the country. So at equilibrium, and this I already discussed with you Keynesian model. Keynes says that output is demand determined. It means how much economy will produce, that production will depend on the level of aggregate demand. So according to aggregate demand, the economy is going to produce. So at equilibrium, your aggregate demand must be equal to aggregate supply. Okay, aggregate demand must be equal to aggregate supply. But here is a demand side economy, because this aggregate supply or aggregate output depending on aggregate demand. And aggregate supply, we have assumed it's a capital Y, that is output produced in the country with the total supply, and AD you have assumed C plus I bar. So if you just write it, Y equal to C, already you are knowing A plus BY plus I bar. So you can also write here Y minus BY, which is equal to A plus I bar, and Y you can just take out factors 1 minus B, A plus I bar. So this Y is equal to A plus I bar divided by 1 minus B. And this Y star is known as equilibrium level of output. Equilibrium level of output. This whole term A and I bar, it is basically, we also referred it, A plus I bar is, you can say, capital A. You can write it like this. So this Y star you can write capital A upon 1 minus B. Okay, you can also write Y star equal to 1 upon 1 minus B into capital A. In this way, you can also write. Okay. Clear, everyone? So if you are knowing the amount of, if you are knowing consumption functions only, you are knowing the what is consumption function and what is the amount of investment, you can calculate the equilibrium level of income, because to get equilibrium level of income, you only need the value of A plus I bar and MPC value. So if you are knowing the three factors or three values, you can easily calculate, yes, what should be the equilibrium level of output. And on this basis, some numericals is there in your textbook. You need to practice, and this type of questions, university asks on this numerical. They will give you a consumption functions. They will give you investment. Suppose they are giving you investment function, consumption function like this. He says C equal to 100, or say 1000 plus 0.8 Y, and say investment is equal to 1000, or say 2000, you can say. So what is the value of equilibrium level of income? So if you are knowing this formula, then you can easily calculate, yes, Y star equal to 1 upon 1 minus B means 1 minus 0.8, and A plus A value is 1000 plus I bar is your 2000s. Okay, so just you can calculate, you can get the value. I just taken the random one. So what is the value? You can, after calculation, that will be the equilibrium value of output. Clear. So in this way, then numerically you can solve by getting this informations. What should be the diagram, dear? How can you represent this diagram? Anyone? How you can explain the simple Keynesian model by diagram? It was the mathematical one, equation wise. क्या हुआ सभी क्लास लगाकर भाग गए हो?
No, sir.
यहीं पर हो तो बोलेंगे यार. Bhavya?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
कैसे एक्सप्लेन करोगे डायग्राम से? हाउ कैन यू एक्सप्लेन बाय डायग्राम सिंपल Keynesian मॉडल?
so can I try?
Yeah, try.
So the two graphs that we drew, sir, C for C and S, we can draw it together,
Hmm.
and we'll get one intersection point. That will be Y star, I suppose.
You will draw the C and
S diagram on the same graph, sir, that we drew earlier, sir, for C and S. And
so if you C diagram and S diagram you are drawing, really you will get the
no, sir, God.
equilibrium
Sorry,
point.
sir. Sorry, sir. I forgot about AS only.
So
Sorry,
your
sir.
S function is you are starting from the minus A and your consumption is starting from plus A.
So I forgot about income, sir. Aggregate supply. Sorry, sir.
Anyone
Sir,
can.
what we can do is we can draw C first, which is we have the equation of C, and then we'll have to add I, which is 2000. So we'll shift the graph upwards by 2000 units.
No. This
So
is the
we'll
math.
get C plus I. Sir?
Okay. See, this is the mathematical way to solve equations. But concept you have to just, concept is what? Concept is this part. Concept is this part. Or this part. And concept is at equilibrium, aggregate supply must be equal to aggregate demand. And from there you are drawing the equilibrium level of output. Okay, now take this example. So what we are doing in the simple Keynesian model for diagram, explaining it through diagram. So here you take aggregate demand. Here you take the output, which is your aggregate supply. 45-degree line we are taking as aggregate supply in the simple Keynesian model. This line, basically, we assume it's a 45 line. I've written it. Even suppose it's not drawn 45, but you have to assume it's a 45-degree line. This line is assumed as the aggregate supply line. Why it's a 45-degree line in simple Keynesian model assume the aggregate supply line? The reason is that Keynes says that supply must be equal to demand, because demand is going to decide the supply. So when you are drawing the quadrant, in the vertical axis you are measuring aggregate demand, and horizontal axis you are measuring the aggregate level of output. So definitely your aggregate demand must equate the aggregate supply. So if you take equal amount of aggregate demand and equal amount of aggregate supply, definitely this coordinate must be on the 45-degree line, because 45-degree line divide this quadrant equally. So this is the reason that in this simple Keynesian model, or in this model, we assume aggregate supply line nothing but it's a 45-degree line. And what's about aggregate demand? So aggregate demand is what in simple Keynesian model we are discussing with you. If you are taking Y here and consumption here, So basically your consumption line like this. Okay. And investment, you have, it is a consumption functions. Investment is the autonomous one. It is the autonomous one. Fine. It's a given I bar. So let us consider this much amount is your investment in the economic country, I bar. So if you add this plus this, so if you're adding, then what? Your aggregate demand, something like here, maybe your aggregate demand curve. And this C and AD, this difference is what? I bar. Can we write like this? Check, dear.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I bar
Because
should be the vertical distance, no, sir.
yes, vertical. Just you take this equation wise, you take aggregate demand. You are saying it is a C plus I bar. Am I right? I bar is the given. It's a autonomous one. Consumption is equal to what? A plus by plus I bar. So here A plus I bar plus by. So A plus I bar, can we write capital A plus by?
Yes, sir.
So what is the basic difference between the consumption function and the aggregate demand function? Only intercept now. Your slope is remain same. Slope is remain same as just like the MPC. In consumption function also the slope is the MPC, and even aggregate demand your slope is your MPC. Only intercept has changed. So if you take any consumption function simple Keynesian models, so only something it will be the upward shift in the proportionate to your investment, nothing more than this. Check all of you, please. What I'm telling you, you are getting all of you or not? See this diagram again. Consumption function is given. Just normal consumption function. It is upward sloping. Yes, there is an intercept. Okay, there is an intercept, upward sloping, fine. And you are knowing that yes, I bar is the given. It's autonomous investment is a given I bar amount. So if you add I bar plus C or C plus I bar, so it will be just upward shift like AD curve. We have just drawn on this line, this curve. If you equation wise, if you want to see, then AD is nothing but it is a capital A plus B, or capital A is nothing but intercept of consumption function plus investment amount I bar. So it means that there is a only increase in intercept one. Slope remains same, the MPC. Okay, so aggregate demand, we can write like this. It is your AD curve. C plus I bar. Here we will write C plus I bar. And intercept here we are assuming it is the A, which minimum amount of consumption when level of income is 0 plus I bar amount. So difference between consumption and AD is I bar. So at this point, your equilibrium is there where your AD is equal to AS, and corresponding to this, the output is determined is known as the equilibrium level of output. Check there, is it clear or not?
Clear.
Anyone tell me, is it stable equilibrium or not? Because that concept I discussed in the microeconomic class, what is the meaning of stable equilibrium and unstable equilibrium? So this equilibrium is stable or not? Anyone?
And it is a stable equilibrium.
It is a stable equilibrium. Swin, can you explain why?
Sir, because at points before y prime or y star, we have that the aggregate supply is lesser than the aggregate demand. So the economy as a whole will be there will be excess demand situation in the places where before y star. So when there is excess demand, then the suppliers will increase supply, and thus the demand and the supply will move towards each other and reach the equilibrium point, whereas it will push towards the equilibrium point y star. So whereas at points beyond y star, the supply will be greater, so it's a situation of excess supply. So the demand, the suppliers will adjust to the given demand, which is lesser than the supply after y star, and then the equilibrium point will move towards the point y star.
Okay, fine. One thing you people added here, because you're discussing the Keynesian theory and you are writing Keynesian theory, so you should always explain as per the principles of Keynes theory. Okay, take simple example, whether you need to explain this is stable or not. You can just take, say, y1 level of output. Fine. You take y1 level of output. So if you take y1 level of output, then at this level of output, you can get it. What is happening? So at y1 level of output, your aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply. Am I right? Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So simply you can say that since at y1 level of output, aggregate demand is more than aggregate supply, and this situation is known as excess demand. Then you have to say, as per Keynes, output is demand determined. So if there is a demand, then economy will produce more. And as a result, due to excess demand, the output is start increasing. So the moment production start increasing, then the gap is going to be lower. So this production keeps increasing, and finally you reach at a point where you can say at point E, where again AD is equal to AS. Equilibrium will restore. Similarly, you can say, take the example of Y2. So you can say at Y2 level of output, your aggregate supply is more than aggregate demand, and this situation is known as excess supply. Okay, and you are knowing that as per Keynes theory, Keynes already, the Keynes theory says that if there is no demand, the economy will cut down the productions. Or even there is less demand, economy will cut down the production. Since here production is more than the aggregate demand, so production, the economy will cut. And the moment they start cutting or decreasing, the gap, the excess supply started decreasing, and finally you reach at a point. So Y started decreasing, and finally you reach at a point where again AD is equal to S. You reach at the point E, and your economy will restore. So fine, the way you are explaining is good, but you add some 1-2 points and you relate it with the Keynesian theory. Clear here till this point?
Yes, sir.
So everything,
Yes, sir.
yeah, tell me. How? Yeah, 45-degree line here, we assume the aggregate supply curve on the basic concept is that since Keynes theory says that, or Keynesian theory says that production is depending on aggregate demand. It means how much you are producing or how much you will produce, basically it is going to be decided by the level of aggregate demand. So if economy is producing equal to aggregate demand, so if you put a coordinate, the aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply, always this point or coordinate will be on the 45-degree line. This is the basic principle of Keynes. Production must be depending on the aggregate demand, just opposite of your classical theory. So on the basis of that, we are taking the 45-degree line as a aggregate supply line, as a reference of that. Is it clear now? Clear. You have to compare with the Keynes theory. Production is depending on aggregate demand. How much demand, accordingly the production will be there. Higher the demand, higher the production. Lower the demand, lower the productions. Clear? Any doubt till this point?
No, sir.
Nothing? Okay. See, again, tomorrow class, morning class, I'm not 100% sure I will take or not. Okay. If it is a someone has given WhatsApp, can you tell me what you want to say? Relating to aggregate supply and 45-day line. अभी chat box में किसने लिखा है? Tell me to say, explain this.
सर आई जस्ट
सर
टोल्ड
वो
दैट
एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा था, उसने लिखा था बस।
अरे तो वो क्या लिखा है बताने के लिए कोई इशू है इसमें? Other can also
नहीं सर
understand.
सर आई वाज जस्ट सेइंग दैट y इज इक्वल टू as मतलब इनकम इज इक्वल टू एग्रीगेट सप्लाई, दैट्स व्हाई इनकम लाइन है सर वो
इनकम लाइन नहीं बोलेंगे हम लोग, सप्लाई लाइन ही बोल देंगे। थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल एक्चुअली बोल सकते हो इनकम लाइन, बिकॉज मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में हम मान ही रहे हैं कि द टोटल प्रोडक्शन इज टोटल इनकम, बट यू हैव टू टेक द एग्रीगेट सप्लाई लाइन, प्रोडक्शन लाइन और इनकम लाइन यू कैन से, बट प्रोडक्शन लाइन ही लेना। एंड जहां पर देखो एग्रीगेट डिमांड, एंड यू जस्ट सी द पॉइंट वेयर एग्रीगेट डिमांड इज इक्वल टू एग्रीगेट सप्लाई ना, corresponding to that point your income is determined, Y star. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir, yes.
actually your income you are representing along the horizontal axis, dear. Okay. So aggregate supply line is one of the indicator ki yes, corresponding to that point what will be your income. But income you are representing along the horizontal axis now. So it is reason I am telling you, just take precaution, just use aggregate supply line.
Yes sir, yes sir.
And that will basically, and why we are taking 45 line, the only due to the Keynes argument, because Keynes argument is ki economy will produce that much level of productions or output as according to their demand in the country. Okay, so fine, just revise, start reading your notes. We will complete our syllabus. Therefore, syllabus there is no issue, but start doing that. Okay, and we will move in this way. Let me improve me 2-3 days better, then I will just take longer and then I will complete it faster. But meanwhile, just keep going on. Don't stop yourself. Okay, little bit, but we should go ahead.